Our guest has a YouTube channel with 187 videos on that channel with 77.6 thousand subscribers and over 4.5 million views. He has a podcast. He has a podcast called Whiskey, Wine, and DIY. And he's the dad of two twins. Well, the dad of twins who loves whiskey, DIY, and lighting things on fire. He is the guy on YouTube that burns things in one way or another. And I want to welcome Nick from Build Dad Build. Nick, how you doing?
Good, man. How's it going?
Going well.
Square up my shot here.
Yeah. Look at you getting centered.
I'm trying. It's throwing me off.
Well, we appreciate you coming on. And,
yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate you offering to give something away tonight. You want to tell us about that? And
yeah, I figured we just throw something on the laser bed and engrave it, and then you have you have the giveaway set up, right?
Yes.
Can you hear me all right, by the way?
I can.
Okay.
I can.
Awesome. So I have the old xTool D1 next to me, a diode laser, and I figured we'd engrave at least one flask, maybe a couple.
Okay, that sounds great, and we will we'll give it to somebody later. Who I've got a 3-letter word that you got to put in the chat at the right time, and if that word is your entry, and you'll get a chance. We do ask that you have a mailing address in the 48 contiguous United States, and that, you know what, usually we say if you've won anything in January, you wouldn't be eligible to win this, but I want you to have a chance to win this. So we're throwing that out of the rules tonight. I hope that doesn't hurt anybody's feelings. But you could have won something else and win this. I hope that's okay with people, but I think this is a great prize, and I think we should make people eligible.
I guess I should probably show them to you.
Yeah, you want to? Can you show them the laser setup that you're using?
Yeah. So we'll probably do one of each of these and then see how long it's going to take us. But this is just kind of like a stainless steel flask. We'll be using Enduramark on here, so we'll etch black on top of that. And then I have some of these painted flasks. These will actually engrave faster because you're just taking the paint off. But these are little short, stubbier guys, and then that's got black paint on top of it, and we'll just etch through that down to the stainless. Setup wise, this is always fun to do. The xTool is right here. This is my overhead camera rig on top of there. This isn't actually part of it, but it's just it's a 10-watt diode laser from a company called xTool. This thing is pretty modular. It's not like, I'm going to show you the dark part of the garage here over here, but I've got, this is like a LaserMaster 2 Pro. They're starting to get a lot more modular. This thing goes together in like 10 to 15 minutes, where the LaserMaster takes about 30. And they're just making them prettier now, man. They're just making them prettier.
Well, that's a gorgeous machine. How did you get into doing this, working with the lasers and so forth?
I had somebody contact me and want me. I always joke that I'm like, I never knew I was into lasers until I got my first laser, and then now I'm kind of obsessed with them. So I had a company reach out, and they asked me if I wanted to demo the LaserMaster 2 Pro. It's the first laser I picked up, and I'd heard of it, and I thought it would be a cool addition to what I was looking for, is something to be able to personalize, just like your work, right? Like, so I always say that if you're going to build something, if you can personalize it, you can make more money per unit. So the idea was, I was looking at a CNC, and then this laser opportunity came up. So I got the laser, and I actually got the CNC too, but the laser is a lot more user-friendly, a lot easier. like an easier option for a lot of people. If you're doing like, say like cutting boards or something like that, to personalize them. And, you can tack, $20 on the price, anywhere up to 50, depending on what what exactly you're lasering, and make a little bit more money per unit. But once I got the laser, apparently I now live in some sort of ecosystem where everybody wants to send me a laser to review. So um, I got one after that, and then I got the xTool. I've got another furrow behind me, and then I've got 2 more in boxes that I haven't even opened yet.
Well, I know why they want to send it to you. You make it look approachable. You make it
Yeah.
look, I don't want to say easy, because I think there's a learning curve there, but what's your experience on the learning curve with the software and setup and all
I
that?
was it was much easier than I thought it was going to be. Like I really thought that I'm not the brightest guy in the world, and learning new software is not always super easy for me. Now, granted, I do have an art background, so I do work in some like kind of vector based programs. So like laser, like light burn, which is kind of I say the industry standard, the hobbyist standard, for laser engraving. It's a little bit more technical, but it's still pretty easy. I mean, just out of the box to assemble and then download the software and get this thing to engrave a picture or cut a circle or something. It's pretty accessible. I would say, especially if you could run with CNC, this is nothing, because I'm still trying to figure the CNC out. um, but yeah, it's a very approachable thing, to do, a very approachable hobby. And I mean, right now with the pandemic and everything, a lot of people are looking at like at home hobbies to try to like make a little extra money, or to even quit their day job and work out of the house. And this is like one of those things that's tried and true. If you market it and you can find your space, you're gonna make money with this thing.
Yeah. So on one of your recent videos that I saw, you were showing that the flask, you buy those in bulk,
Yep.
and they're real reasonable when you do that.
Hmm.
And then you sell those to parties, birthday parties, bachelor parties, and you might sell 20 at a time.
Right.
And you're making, I don't remember exactly, but I think you're making about $10 for each one, even selling them in bulk. And if you were to do that as a one-off, you'd have to charge off more.
Yeah.
But there's money to be made, and it's a product that uh, people love, that personalization. I mean,
Right.
that's common sense. What do you think about YouTubers who have woodworking related channels? Do you think that that kind of investment is good for them to get into laser work so that they can make their products even more attractive, more appealing whenever it comes to like the thumbnails?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, so one thing you can do is you can always put your own logo on your stuff, right? So when you're selling it, that way, you've got your name on there. If somebody wants to know who made this cutting board or whatever, they can just flip it over and there's your stuff. But I mean, to be able to offer, for 15-20 bucks to personalize it, and put like, your logo, or a lot of times realtors will do the one cutting boards as a gift that they're going to give their clients, and they want to put like their name on there or something like that, or sometimes they want to put the client's name on there too. But that kind of personalization is just that like a little bit of extra money you're making per sale. So I mean, it's a money maker. So I would say anybody that has the space for it, um and is selling things. I mean, it's not a bad purchase. I mean, it's going to pay for itself.
Yeah. And before people ask, I'll go ahead and ask. So what's the odds if you do a good job, if you buy one, you do a good job of representing it on camera, that you're going to end up getting others to review?
I This is the first time that I've gotten like this much, I guess, attention from demoing a product or anything like that. I do, people do contact me, and I do use their products, and, form relationships with them. But the laser thing is crazy. And I think it's just because it's so popular right now. But the funny thing is, the first laser I ever got was the Ortur, but it wasn't from Ortur. It was from a third party company. And then after that, Ortur contacted me and was wanting to know if I would rep their laser. And I was like, well, I already have it. So it's just, it's this thing, I guess, is just, it's a marketing thing that people are doing. I like, the funny thing is, like, when I get one of these lasers, I'll see 2 or 3 of the other big laser guys out there. I say big laser guys. I'm not a big laser guy, but um, they'll have the same unit. So that's obviously kind of the marketing companies are, getting out there and kind of doing the rounds. And if I see a cool laser, I'll contact them and ask them if they want me to demo. I think that might have been how I got the xTool. I think I contacted them about their bigger unit.
Yeah. So the one you're going to make it tonight, right? You're going to get it going on the machine.
Yeah, I totally sidetracked myself here.
No, I sidetracked you with all these questions.
And we're gonna have a little bit more noise now because I got to turn this on.
Okay.
That's not too bad, is it?
I don't hear anything.
Oh, you can't hear it? Cool. That's the reason I want to pull this mic out. I was afraid that the mic I normally use sits kind of further behind it, and it would.
No, you sound good to me.
Cool.
Yeah. So
okay.
Whoever wins this is actually going to be looking at having it done real time as we talk. I don't want to distract you from that, but let me go ahead and share a few milestones and maybe get to a question.
All right.
First of all, Sandy from McKenzie Lumber Mill says, "Hey, Nick."
Hey.
And got a milestone here from Jarmaid, who was our highlighted channel of the evening. We played his trailer right before the broadcast here. So, I say broadcast because I want to make it sound like I'm on the network. Got a 1 out of 10 video, my last video I published. That is fantastic, Jarmaid.
Nice. You
deserved it because that was a good video. Hopefully it'll be your best performing. I know that you had one that really went viral, so I hope this one beats that one. It's really good. We've got another milestone here. Woodworking in a wheelchair. Says 3 years clean off painkillers. Love you, brother. Yeah, that is awesome.
That is impressive.
Yeah, you're going to make me tear up here. I'm proud of you. All right, so another milestone. Finally got the shop built and dried in, so hopefully the wood shop will start coming together quicker now. Nice. All right, Ben Lipper, that's what I like to hear, is get it together so you can get to making the fun projects. Everybody loves a construction project whenever it's someone else's. So
right.
That's good stuff. All right. Don't mean to distract you. We got a question.
Nope. Go ahead.
Can't afford a glow forge. What would you recommend laser to etch cutting boards to sell to realtors? Oh, that's always a good idea. The realtors like to give those away.
Yeah, you don't need so a glow forge is a CO2 laser, and CO2 lasers are going to run you. I mean, you can get a cheap like Chinese unit. There's a big Chinese laser community for probably a couple $1,000s, but you don't need something like that. For if you just want to engrave cutting boards, a diode laser like these is going to do just fine. I would suggest something like, it kind of depends. I usually suggest the xTool if you don't, if you really don't know a whole lot about lasers, because it's kind of plug and play. It has some basic software that is good enough for if you want to just take an image and put it in the software and have it engrave, and it kind of has some basic settings that you can get through pretty easy. If you like to tinker and upgrade, then I start recommending like something from Ortur, like the Laser Master 2 or the Afuro, because you'll be able to swap out laser head units on that a little easier. Excuse me. The xTool, the laser head on it is fairly proprietary, even down to like how it's mounted. So I'm sure that xTool will be able to have other things to other heads and whatnot to put on there eventually. But with this unit, you're going to be kind of stuck with xTool stuff. Like I said, if you're a plug and play guy, because if you're looking at the Glowforge, Glowforge is plug and play. Like I have a Muse CO2 laser upstairs, and that is more of a it's I guess it's a little less plug and play, but it's also a little bit more versatile. Like the Glowforge, I don't think you can remove the bottom of it at all, which means that if you were doing a big cutting board, you wouldn't be able to do that. Whereas like the Muse, you could take the floor out of that and you could like literally set it on a desk and engrave on the desk. I can talk about that forever. So I'm self-regulating now.
That's good stuff. So that was a good question from 4321. Now so it really depends on what you want to do with it. And,
absolutely.
And what
there's
kind of budget you're working with.
Yeah. There's no one laser that's like the bee's knees for everything. So a lot of people are like, what do you recommend? And I'm like, what do you want to do? Because this is a 10-watt laser, but the only reason you need a 10-watt laser is if you want to cut thicker material. If you're not cutting material or you don't want to cut anything over 1/8 of an inch, then you don't need 10 watts. You need 5.
Yeah.
I'm measuring right now. I'm sorry.
No worries. You do what you need to do. I'm going to move over to Ben Lipper, who says, what brand of laser would everyone be able to afford that would do a good enough job that you would use it on your merch? A laser for starting woodworkers. So it's kind of the similar question. Whenever you answer this, you also mentioned in one of your recent videos that January and February there's a sale on one of these lasers.
Yeah, so if you're looking for just like out of the box, pretty modular, and you're really trying to save a buck right now, the Afuro Laser 2, which is it's kind of over there behind me, excuse me, is it's on a flash sale until I think like February 10th, but I think it's like $269, and that for that unit, that is an excellent price. I think it's going to go up to like either $399 or maybe even a little bit more than that. $269 is a great price for that, but you've got 3 days.
And that kind of plays into what Lawrence Lunsford was asking. What's the price point of one of the lasers that you currently own? And
so the Afuro is like $269 right now. That will hop up in price. The D1, the unit that I have here, I have most of the bells and whistles. Actually, I think I might now have all the bells and whistles because I have some boxes behind me. But this unit is the 10 watt is going to be $649 or $99, I think, and then it jumps up about another $50 if you want the rotary. So if you want to do like tumblers and things like that. The Laser Master 2 over here is going to be more like $479, and then the Afuro is going to get you into that like $269. But like I said, that price is going to come up fairly quickly in the next 3 days or whatever. I also have another unit that I haven't unboxed yet, so I don't know too much about it yet. It's called the Atom Stack, and it is going to be even a little bit cheaper, but it's a single gantry, it's a single arm. So instead of having a gantry that runs across, it's got kind of a rail and then one arm that runs on it. I think I haven't even taken it out of the box yet. I think that's what it is.
Awesome. Let's see. I know you're setting up.
Yeah, here I'll point you down
that's
there.
Cool.
If I can, I just don't have enough cord. Okay, so here is our flask, and then what I'm going to do just kind of give you an idea how easy this is to focus. You see that? Get you up here a little bit. All right, so we'll aim at the laser head for a second. So this is the laser head. There's a thumb screw on this side. This is what I like about the xTool. It's some of the easy to use. So you take the thumb screw, you pop it off, or you don't pop it off, you unscrew it. You're going to lift this up, and then your focus is right here. That kickstand is going to tell you where you need this to be. Now, I probably can't see that anymore. And we're going to be kind of shadowed here. And basically what I'm doing is I'm engraving a flask that isn't flat, right? So I'm going to come over to about halfway down that curve, and that's what I'm going to focus to. So I'm going to split my focus. But that little kickstand is getting me the correct distance away from it. I flip that back out and I'm good to go. Let me hop over here real quick. Like when you're focusing the Laser Master 2, you use a billet like this. Sometimes you've got like kind of a thick piece of acrylic that gives you an idea of where it needs to be. So this, to me, is a lot easier to deal with. And then one of the other ease of use things that I like about this is you guys can see, let me close out real quick, see the axe right here. That's where the laser is going to start. So instead of trying to figure out coordinates like a lot of times you will or something like that, you can just basically kind of place that. You guys probably can't see that really good, but can you see the axe at all? You can see when I do that. Okay. All right. It gets a little sketchy when you start getting in here with the orange on there and stuff. And you can tell I use this a lot because I've actually melted part of it. Okay, so one of the reasons that I like just their proprietary software for stuff like this is I can literally just pull it into there. I know you guys can't. I would point you at the screen, but you won't really be able to see it. But there's a setting in here for coated metal, so I'm just going to pick that up, and then I will come in here real quick. We're going to find out how long this is going to take here. We might just want to do coated metal ones, so they'll go faster. And then for those of you that don't know anything about lasers, what you always want to do is run a frame to kind of get an idea of where it's actually going to engrave. Move you back a little bit. So that's going to go. And that's the way you figure out, like, even though you think you're in the center, are you really in the center?
Yeah, this is like a mini master's class on how to get started here.
Right. Okay. And then we're going to just hit start, and that's going to take about 8 minutes. This is going to be fairly boring for you to watch, but I'll give it to you for, a minute or two so you can kind of see. And that is running. Anybody out there that is curious about settings, that's running at 100% power right now at 70 millimeters per second.
That's pretty awesome. I've got a couple other questions for you while we watch that for a minute.
All right, go ahead.
Let's see. Lincoln Street Woodworks says, I remember seeing a video a couple of months about needing to take a break and reevaluate everything. What did you find and what changes did you make?
Who, me? Me personally?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's what he's addressing. Yeah.
It was just I was just under a lot of stress at the time. And what I really wanted to do, so as a content creator, and this is a kind of a joke just in the industry, right? If you you quit your 9-to-5 job to be your own boss, and then you just work 24/7, which is kind of what I do. Because even if I try to take a week off, I'm still answering emails and stuff like that, and I try to respond to everybody's comments and questions and things like that. So it gets really hard for me to disconnect. I can't. I have a hard time turning it off. Which honestly, like I like to help people, so that's what makes it hard. But I was just kind of, and then I also, anybody who's watched the channel for any length of time knows that I do suffer from depression and anxiety. So when those two like kind of get too bad, I have to I have to try to figure out what's going wrong. So it was just I was kind of in a pretty depressed state at the time. So I just kind of I sat back. I took an inventory of what was my issues, my pain points, and things like that. And then I just started to kind of focus on different things, like some motivational things and things like that. I mean, I don't have a great like special pill I took or anything like that. I mean, I still have the depression. I still get up some days and I don't want to do anything. But I mean, it's better. And like, it's hard because dealing with the people that I deal with, and when I say dealing, interacting, I guess, that's like the highlight of my day. So to like not do that kind of sucks sometimes. You know what I mean? Like it's like, oh, like that's not helping. So it's hard for me to step away like that. The laser thing happened at a really good time because I had like injured my shoulder and couldn't lift things and couldn't do a lot of things in the shop. And that has really kind of opened up another area of interest for me, which has also got my attention. So, I mean, I'm like, I mean, if the question is, how am I doing? I'm doing much better. If the question is like, how did I deal with it exactly? I get up every day and I go out in the shop, I mean, like I said, I don't have a good answer for you.
Yeah. So how long have you been full-time creator?
3 years. Well, like 2.5 years.
Yeah. And so at what point were you in YouTube and so forth whenever you made that decision?
So that was an interesting story. I worked in insurance for a decade and I hated my job. I just hated it. And I don't even get me like, I could talk ad nauseum for hours on why the insurance industry is horrible. But I won't. So I was starting to have some like gut issues, just some like GI issues where my stomach was killing me and I couldn't figure out why. And I went and saw like a GI doc and saw a bunch of different doctors. And they finally, did a colonoscopy and all that stuff. And I came back like clean as a whistle, like no problems. And so I'm sitting there talking to the doc and I'm like, well, so what, like what could it be? And he's like, well, it could be psychological. And he's like, are you stressed out? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm stressed all the time. Like I just always. And sure as shit. So I always wanted to quit, do this full time, but I wasn't there monetarily. I'm still not there monetarily, but I talked to my wife and we kind of sat down. And we're like, you know what, like this, she kind of said, I think you need to quit your job now. So I quit my job, and the next day I felt so flippin' amazing. It was unreal. And it was like very few times have I made a decision of my life and known after I made that decision 100% I made the right decision. But that I did. I just, the way I felt the next day, the fact that like my gut didn't bother me, and like in several days after that, it was just absolutely the right choice.
Yeah, well, our viewers are all in support of you. Ben Lipper says, here we go. Great to hear things are getting better, and I suffer anxiety and depression as well. So you're not alone, brother. And Mackenzie Lumbermill, Sandy from there says, thanks, Nick. I struggle too with depression. Being obsessed about YouTube and videos, great advice. Which brings up a great point. I mean, do you whenever you look at your analytics and you so forth, do you are you the type person that obsesses about it, or do you let it go?
Well, first of all, what do we think about this one?
That's gorgeous. Yeah, that's cool right there.
So, like, I don't know. I didn't clock it. That was probably a little longer than 8 minutes, but I mean, that's the kind of return you're getting for something like this. So just to run down the how much you make real quick, and then I'll get back to your question. $5 for the flask if you buy them in bulk, sell them for 15, and that was, what, 10 minutes of my time. And it wasn't actually my time. Like, it was the setup and everything. And I take that back. I did make this file, so that was probably about 20 minutes. But, once you do it over and over.
Yeah. So if you were selling 10 or 20 of these for a party or get together, and it was all one design and you didn't have to customize each one, then you're really maximizing your efficiency,
Right.
and the revenue. And then if they want to have each one customized, then you just have a small upcharge for each customization, right?
Well, and that's the beauty of it too. Once you have the file, like if they want, so a lot of times they'll want like, somebody's name on them or whatever. But that's easy. You already have the design. So, I mean, now that particular design, I did design in, hey baby, I'm on camera. Do you want to come say hi? Yeah. This is one of the chillins.
Twin?
Yeah, that's a twin. Come here.
Hi.
Well, hello.
Hi. This is Octavia. What you doing?
I just wanted to come over.
Well, thank you.
How old is Octavia?
5. Well, they're 5.5.
Yeah.
Careful.
That's right. You gotta count those halves.
That's right. I'm totally sidetracked now, though. Okay, so I designed that whole file in Adobe Illustrator just because I'm used to Illustrator. What I would do if I was making those for a group is I would design whatever they want in Illustrator. You could design it in whatever you want. I live in Illustrator. I live in Adobe. And then I would keep the name separate. I'd type the name in Laserbox or whatever your software is. And then that way you just, make sure it's centered and everything. And every time you do a new flash, you just select and change the name, and everything else is ready to go. So, I mean, that's the easy peasy way.
Yeah. So, you want to give everybody like a 4-minute warning, and then we'll draw a name?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, if you'd go into the chat, and if you'll make a comment with hashtag BDB for Build Dad Build, we will we'll be drawing names soon using the StreamYard giveaway tool. So hashtag BDB. And
so are you seeing? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's cool. What you got?
Are you like I'm only in StreamYard, so people are asking questions on YouTube, right? Is that what you're saying?
And I see the chat. Yeah.
Okay, no worries. I was just curious.
Yeah. So that's good stuff. Let's see. Another vote of support here. I actually started doing this because of my depression and anxiety. It helps until I can't figure something out.
Yeah.
You ever get frustrated with your projects there, Nick?
I do. What I've always found is that mistakes are like the best thing ever. And I say that like I kid you not. If you're not making mistakes, you're not pushing yourself. So yeah, I get frustrated with stuff all the time. I do, but I also that's the reason I leave the mistakes in my videos, right? Because you set up to do something. Most of the time, I'm setting out to do something I've never done before, and if you think that people set out to do something they've never done before and they just don't make mistakes, somebody's lying to you. So yeah, I get frustrated all the time, but I just don't let it, maybe I switch over to another project, but I will absolutely get it done. I've only chucked like 1 or 2 projects ever. I'm sorry, I'm shaking a rattle can. I've only had like 1 or 2 projects where I've absolutely like kind of given up on. Most of the time, I think what people don't understand is you can always kind of pivot on a project. So you get stuck at a point and okay, so maybe you don't make it the same way you were going to, but you can still make it. Maybe, maybe that really tall table becomes a really short table now because you've screwed up the legs. But projects are fluid, man. Real quick, let me camera this and see if you can even see me. What I'm using right now, I figure I'll do one more of these. I don't know if it'll be done by the time this is over. This is going to take a little longer. But what I'm using is Enduramark. This stuff is awesome for marking metal. You can't actually engrave on stainless steel by itself with the diode laser. You actually can't do it with CO2 laser either. Well, actually, I take that back. You can engrave lightly on stainless steel. But what this is going to do is this is going to give us a like really dark image. So it'll look a little bit better. And I kind of want to do this in here because this stuff, I don't know, like it doesn't smell like spray paint and it dries in like a minute and then you're ready to go. It's just awesome. It's also really expensive. Just that's why.
So you're going to engrave another one tonight?
I'm going to do another one. I don't know if it'll be, I don't know if we'll be finished by the time we're done, but I can definitely give it away.
That's awesome. All right, everybody, you should be getting excited about this. We're going to go ahead and while he sprays that, I'm going to go ahead and share the other screen so we can do the giveaway. So we've got this giveaway tool from StreamYard. This is the broadcast, the Build Dad Build broadcast, and you've put in hashtag BDB.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
We will start collecting comments now. All right.
I like it.
Entries.
That's very cool.
Yeah. And now we will, out of those 20 entries, we will draw our winner, see who it is. R.H. Harley guy. Well, congratulations. That's awesome. You are lucky. And how does R.H. Harley guy get in touch with you, Nick, to
sorry,
arrange getting the flask?
Just email me, Nick at builddadbuild.com.
All right, R.H. Harley guy, you got that? Nick at builddadbuild.com.
Yep. Or you can find me on any social media, but that's probably the easiest way.
All right. Well, so we'll be doing another giveaway. So everybody stay on and you'll get another chance.
I'm checking my settings here. So Enduramark sent me out some samples to try. I don't know if you can, how well you're going to be able to see that because it's on stainless, but it does pretty well. This stuff, Enduramark's products, they like if you go to their website, they might have changed it now. They say they only work with CO2 lasers. So the owner actually saw one of my videos and said, "Hey, will you see if this will work on stainless with your 10 watt?" So he sent me some product out and it looks really good. It's this. I've done a video. I haven't done a video on this yet. I've done a video with dry moly. Dry moly works decent. Dry moly, for those of you who don't know, is like a dry lubricant, and for whatever reason, it works really good as a transfer agent to metal. But this stuff will be darker And I guess like you have to sandblast it off. They have this whole thing on their website about like the different acids and things that you would have to use on it and how long it would take before it would mess it up.
That's
All right.
cool.
So we'll go ahead and get this guy going. I just need to check the settings here.
All right. So I got a few questions backing up here. So
Do it.
Which laser is good for engraving stove covers? Now, I'm assuming they're talking about the wood stove
Like
covers.
the noodle boards, any of them. You're still talking about, as long as you're talking about wood, you really don't even need a 10-watt laser. Like a 5-watt laser does fine. You may save yourself a little bit of time. So I would say this: if it's for a business and you're already cranking them out, and what you want to do now is that off? Sorry, I'm checking my work and realizing that something is like not aligned. 1 second. It's gonna drive me nuts. Okay, I think we're good. If you're cranking them out, okay, and all you want to do is like you're looking for another way to personalize and make a little bit more cash, then I would go with the 10 watt because the 10 watt's going to be faster. Okay, the 10 watt's going to engrave a little faster. You're going to see a little bit. So if you're cranking out 50 units a day, the 10 watt's going to get those 50 units out faster than the 5-watt would. But if you're, if you're a hobbyist and you're selling here and there, all you need is a 5-watt. One second. All right. Sorry, I'm just checking center.
And Alien Leader wants to know what laser setup would be good for wood turners. That's kind of a different look at it.
So I guess it kind of depends on how you are engraving. But if you're engraving cylinders, then you're going to need a rotary attachment. The rotary attachments look like this. And basically you can adjust like this roller. I might be telling you the wrong one. Yeah, this roller, you can adjust it in to do like pencils and then all the way out to do like really wide bodied cylindrical objects. And then you've got something like this, which is similar. It's just, this is the hauteur version. This one you have to assemble. The laser box one comes pre-assembled. And I think if you're talking about like doing bowls and whatnot, you want to do something like this.
That's cool. So let's see. Got a milestone here from Ben Lipper. Have one daughter that's 4 years old and another daughter on the way, due in April.
Ooh,
congratulations.
I'm sorry. Congratulations. I'm sorry. I'm glad that like, so my twins, one boy, one girl. And we were told we couldn't have kids. Okay. So we tried for a long time. We're much older than we should have been when my wife actually got pregnant. And then we found out it was twins and I shot my pants repeatedly. But then we found out it was one boy and one girl, and I wouldn't have it any other way. One, it was one and done. And two, like, I know I don't ever have to worry if I had like, should I have had another one? And what would it be like having a boy or a girl? Boys are easier.
Well, congratulations, Ben Tipper. That is
absolutely no.
awesome.
It's very cool. It's very cool. I just I have one 5-year-old girl. I can't imagine having two girls of any age running around the house.
Yeah, kids and spouses. Everybody should have at least one of each. Yeah.
Yes, at least.
All right. Here we go. What's a good beginner laser to engrave on stove covers? I think we touched on that.
Yeah, we just did that one.
Yeah. All right. So we've got
Also, if I don't answer somebody's question, like ask a follow-up question. If I don't answer what you're looking for, ask a follow-up question.
yeah, and if I miss them, send the question again. But I'm trying to catch them all. But let's talk a little YouTube advice here, because you've been on YouTube for a while now, and you've been very successful. And it's not just subs. You've got a merch store. You've got a very strong Patreon support group that follows you. You've kind of gone at it from several angles. But Sandy over at McKenzie Lumber Mill wants to know what's advice for an edgier personalities on YouTube. I think she's saying you've got an edgy personality.
Yeah. So, yeah. I can't be any other way. And this is me in life. This is not just me on YouTube, but I'm gonna sound like an ass if I say this. I do what I want.
Language, man. We got kids watching.
Okay. But you know what I mean? Like I do what I want. And what I want is, when you watch one of my videos, I want you to feel like you're hanging out in the shop. And I want you to feel like you are there and we are BSing. A bunch of people have come at me and been like, man, like bigger YouTubers, like DIY YouTubers, are like, man, you would do better if you just did voiceover. And I'm like, I understand that, but I don't wanna. Like, I want you to have the in the shop experience with me. And therefore, I'm going to do what I want to do. Would I have grown bigger and would I be a much larger channel now if I had followed the rules? Yes. Absolutely 100% yes. But I don't want, I want you to get, you get about 80% of me. You don't get 100% of me because I curse a lot more in real life. But I want you to get the experience of, I used to love to watch my grandfather in the garage in his shop. And we would sit there and he would show me how to do something and we would BS. And it was kind of no holds barred and we did whatever we wanted. And that is how you should learn. You shouldn't learn in this sterile environment where somebody is just talking at you while you're watching what they're doing. So edgier, yeah. So do I straight up had Glowforge tell me they do not want to work with me because I am not their kind of person. No kidding. Glowforge, and I hate to call them out, but they are the only company that has ever said that to me. I get a lot of people that are like, oh, hey, yeah, we're not looking for new affiliates now or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But Glowforge was very specific in that I am not on brand for them. And I'm sure that I've lost some affiliate deals or not received some affiliate deals because of who I am. I don't care. I don't play it safe. I quit my job to make a quarter of what I was making to do this. I will do it how I want to do it. So edgier, you're just going to grow slower. Can you do it? I would urge you to look up Demolition Ranch. That guy is a Pew Pew channel. He like almost every one of his videos gets demonetized and he has 10 million subscribers. So it can be done. I'm going to, pardon me. I just got off my soapbox. How you like that?
No, I mean, it's there. One thing we're always talking about in the YouTube world is setting yourself apart. And, but so often the same people that say set yourself apart, be original, are the ones that say you need to conform to these guidelines.
Yeah.
Here's
the formula to be different.
Yeah.
And I just don't dig it.
Here's cliche number 1, cliche number 2. And if you do these things and find a way to be different about it. So it's working for you. I'm happy for you. Okay, so we've got people commenting. Demolition Ranch is a great channel. Okay.
Are you kidding me? Sorry. I'm looking at this. So this is going. And this is so sometimes you run into a layer issue with the laser. And so I will show you real quick if I can do this. This is so hard for me to point at both things. Can you see what this says?
Yeah, let me get a better view here.
Okay, so that's what
Whiskey Tango Foxtrot.
Right. So that's what it's supposed to be printing right now. I'm having a layer issue. So if you can see where it should see Tango, it's just white. Basically, and this is my bad. I didn't test this file ahead of time. What the computer sees is just the white box. It sees that there's that the Tango is there too, but it's just avoiding that. Like it thinks it's on a different level or a different layer. Anyway, happens sometimes. This is why we test, kids. This is why we test. So we're gonna cancel that because that's not gonna do what I wanted to do. Honestly, normally I would have run that. I would have run it all the way through and gone back and put the Tango in later. But since I know we're probably not going to have that kind of time, we'll just do another black flask with my logo on it, and we can give that one away.
Sounds good. Well, whenever you, how are you about the YouTube statistics? Are you obsessed with that kind of thing?
I don't care. I do care sometimes. And the reason I say that is because mostly I don't care. I like to see how my video is performing. And occasionally I go in and I look at analytics over time, because what I have discovered is that I have a lot of videos that don't do really well out of the gate that become evergreen and do well over time. So I do pay attention to that. And that's the reason that there is a, can you dye wood with Kool-Aid video out right now? Because I know that will do well over time. But mainly, I just want to know if my video is doing all right. Other than that, I mean, I don't punch down into the analytics, if that's what you're asking. I am concerned about. I do get a little concerned about how. Please. I do get a little concerned about my male to female viewership, but that's only because I've noticed that I've started to pull a little bit more of a female audience than a lot of DIY channels. And so I kind of pay attention to that to a certain degree to see what that is. And a lot of it is, without the laser content, a lot of that is kind of the doing different finishes and things like that. So to me, to be able to boast that I have more of a female audience to to my wife, but also to sponsors and things like that is a positive. So I do look at that, but I don't look at, I don't get super granular on them. I probably should.
That makes sense. You've been building your channel for 3+ years now. So how much of a benefit do you think the pandemic was as far as your channel growth? Did you see a spike after people stayed home?
I saw a tank. It
Really?
was bad. Yeah. I literally have just now, in the last maybe 3 months seen a really solid uptick. Now, I wish I had been doing laser content at the beginning of the pandemic, because that would have killed. Because that was when everybody was stuck at home anyway. And you're like, yeah, why wouldn't you? You know what I mean? Like, everybody should have been doing it. But I wasn't doing laser content at that time. I was still doing, my normal content. And it definitely tapered off quite a bit. Like, I was worried for a little bit of that. Like, I was a little concerned that I wasn't going to, where am I going? I was a little concerned that I wasn't going to be able to maintain this being my only source of income. It does help that my wife makes a lot of money. I need to put that out there. So I can kind of frivolously do things that I want to do. But yeah, I was a little worried that I was going to have to like get a job. I was horrified.
Yeah. A 3-letter word.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, well, that's interesting, but you got to be, you kind of known as the guy who burns things, but that was well before lasers.
Yeah. So the funny thing is, I still remember. Okay, so my original channel name was not Build That Build. It was Build It, Burn It. And I remember talking to a buddy of mine at work, and I said, I just don't want to get pigeonholed as the guy that burns stuff. And he looked me dead in the eye and he said, there would be worse things than being known as the guy that burns stuff on the internet. And it took me a little bit of time to embrace that, but he was absolutely correct. So, yes, I'm the guy that burns things on the internet. Whether it's with a laser or a torch, I will burn it for you. If you enjoy it, I will burn it. I still want to do, I've wanted to do it, like, I'm just busy. I've wanted to do a will it burn section where I just stick stuff on a pike and hit it with a torch and see how it burns, or if it burns. It'll always burn. Yep. But we'll get there eventually.
We do have a few more questions, but before we do that, let me remind everyone that we do normally have our live streams on Mondays, but next week is Valentine's Day.
No,
and
it is.
I am married man woodworking, and I do not want to be divorced man woodworking. So we will not have a live stream on Monday, but we are going to have a special time and day live stream next Tuesday after the 7:31 woodworking live stream. Our live stream will start at 9:10 Eastern time, and our special guest will be Ira Contra from Mastering Mayhem and I Don't Even Work Here, those two channels. And my second guest was the other guest is Amy Outlaw from 731 Woodworks, and we're going to have some great conversation. After that, we'll get back on a Monday schedule, and our guest over the next few weeks will be Drew Fisher from Fisher's Shop, Caleb Harris from You Can Make This Too.
Oh, man, I love Caleb.
Yeah, Caleb's great.
He's a very cool dude.
And then as we get into March, we will have Steve Ramsey from Woodworking for Mere Mortals.
Damn.
So we've got
That's cool. Steve is very cool, too.
Yeah.
I've been told I'm the young Steve. I don't know if that's really a thing, but they're like, you remind me of a young Steve Ramsey. I'm like, I think we're the same age, but thank you.
Well, Steve's like one of the, I don't want to say forefathers, but
he's an OG, man. Like
he's old school.
You know what?
Sure.
When people say that, when people say that, I'm not offended. It's just funny because I'm like, I'm pretty sure we're very close in age.
Yeah.
But
so if make sure so that you're reminded to come back and watch those, make sure you're subscribed and ring that bell. We've been hanging
click
around
the little bell, man.
28%,
especially if you're doing lives
on the bell. Yeah, you want to be notified of our lives because we always start like 10 minutes early. So, all right, get to some quick questions here. What's the hardest build that you've ever done, Nick?
Hardest build. It's the stupid thing was it wasn't even that hard. I made a like a little C-shaped table for my wife for like to go. They call them C tables. They call them something else too, but it goes like around the couch. You know what I mean? So if you're sitting in the middle of the couch, you have someplace to like set your drink. Excuse me. And she'd been asking for one of those forever. And I wanted to do like this kind of like faux live edge, like cheap version of a like a river. I guess like a river table, but like that. So I made it out of 2x material and torched it to make it look like it was like more expensive wood. And then I poured the epoxy. And when I was really new to epoxy at that point, and so I poured the epoxy in the garage, and it wasn't super hot, but it was just hot enough that I sat and I checked my epoxy and all that stuff, and it looked good. And then I left and I came back, and it had this massive amount of like bubbling and like froth and crap in it. But when I buffed it out, it didn't look too bad. And there were some other issues with that build. I can't remember. There was some other things that were just like a huge pain in the butt. But the thing is, I made the thing, and I, my wife didn't really see it until it was done, and she saw it, and I was like, yeah, that's the biggest pain in the butt. Like this is all this bubbling and stuff. And so the river was blue. And so all the white kind of bubbly frothy stuff was at the edges, and she thought I did it on purpose because she really likes the ocean, and it kind of looked like the ocean water. And I was like, man, that would have been a much better story to tell you than I totally almost effed this table completely up.
All right, let's get here and for our next drawing, if you'll put a comment that includes hashtag Nick as in the chat, then we'll have a fresh chance, and anyone can win it except our RH Harley guy who's already won tonight.
No flask for you. No more flask for you.
One flask is enough, RH. I'm sorry. But I do have a question from you. Is a benchtop CNC comparable to what you can do with a laser?
Okay, so depends on what you want to do. Again, I feel like that comes out of my mouth a lot. But what I did realize with the lasers, which I love them for different reasons, but some of the things that I actually wanted to do with a laser, I think would be easier with the CNC. Because what I wanted to do is I wanted to be able to engrave deeply and then fill it with epoxy. You can engrave with a laser, but you don't really engrave super deep with a laser. So I guess you could kind of potato on whether you want to use a CO2 laser or a CNC. But at that point in time, the CNC becomes a little bit more reasonable of a purchase than a CO2 laser, because a CO2 laser, like if you're looking at the Muse, you're looking at, I think it's like 3,900 for the unit, and then you want to buy the water cooler and the other stuff. You can get around that, but eventually you're going to want to buy the other stuff. So you're going to spend about $5,000. If you want to do that, if you basically want to just like get a deep enough channel to pour epoxy in and make designs like that, you can pick a CNC up for much cheaper than that. And when I say much cheaper, not that much cheaper, but probably like $2,000 to $3,000 if you know what you're doing, versus like the $5,000 for CO2 laser. So I would say, again, it just depends on what you want to do.
It sounds like you could get as deep into either one of those as you want to. So
Oh, yeah.
how's
I
it
can
how's it
absolutely-
progressing, Nick?
Oh, it's finished.
Oh, cool.
I'm telling you, engraving on coated metal is really easy. Now I'm just looking for my stuff to clean it up. All right, so this is the brand new logo that we haven't put anywhere yet. So this will actually be the first tumbler. I'm sorry, not tumbler. First flask with this engrave on it.
First.
That's the new logo.
Yeah, that's cool. Let's have one more question, then we're going to give that away.
All right.
And I get picked on every week because I don't ever worry about ending on time. I'm not on a schedule.
Don't worry about it.
Now, okay. 2 more questions here. So, to do logos, would you recommend a laser, CNC, or a hot iron brand?
Well, obviously, if you're only doing your own logo, hot iron brand would be the cheapest way to go. I do not have one. Honestly, I was really in the process of picking one up, and then I got a laser. And that being said, because I have the laser, I would never actually, I don't have a reason to buy one now unless I could just make an epic video on it of me stamping stuff. So I would say if you're doing your own logo, go with the stamp. I think if you can afford it, they have an electric one that heats up on its own. You don't have to heat it from an outside source, and that one works better and stamps more evenly. As far as doing other people's logos, obviously the stamp is out, right? Unless you're gonna make a new stamp every time, which would be probably cost prohibitive. If you want to do a very surface thing all the time, go laser. If for some reason, in the future, you may want to put epoxy in it, which people get a little weird with epoxy. And granted, I'm just thinking of cutting boards now. I know you guys make all sorts of different stuff. Who is that? But cutting boards, people get really weird about epoxy being on them. Not everybody, some people. But if you're just going to engrave, the laser if you're just going to engrave logos, laser's going to be faster. And the CNC is going to leave it a little trench, right? So depending on how you want to do it, I wouldn't want to CNC anything that I was going to put food on or anything like that, because again, I'm stuck on cutting boards. Because that's a little lip where stuffing it's stuck in, if that makes sense. If you simply want to brand people's logos, I would go laser. It's going to be faster. Always going to be faster.
Awesome. Okay, everybody, let's give this away. Make sure that you've got a entry in the chat that says #Nick in honor of our guest and the one giving it to you. Let's get that giveaway screen back up here. All right, I see the screen. Now let's get back over here and
so you're running YouTube through this.
I am running StreamYard as the software for the live stream.
Right.
And then
but
you
it's
open
somehow
up
picking up things from YouTube, correct?
Correct.
I'm just curious for my own interests.
Yeah. Do you use StreamYard or use iOS? What do you use?
Well, I don't I don't really use anything.
Okay.
I mean, like, so my wife and I do the podcast, so we're all local, so I don't necessarily use anything like this. And then when I go live, like a lot of times YouTube just has a live, like you can go through your webcam thing, and that's how I started doing the shop things through the webcam. When I do like a live, I do it through OBS.
Okay. Yeah. So, uh, so StreamYard just has this tool, and it's very light on your computer because everything's
Right.
remote. Unlike OBS, which is very intensive, from what I understand, against your very, what's the word? It's hard on your computer, right? It
Gotcha.
demands a lot of software. Where StreamYard's like all remote. It's just like a interface that you see on the screen,
Interesting.
and then it's got
So
this
yeah,
giveaway tool, and you can see all the chat, and you can
that's
star
awesome,
chat
dude.
comments so you can come back to them.
I dig it. I'm curious because I hate OBS.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna start collecting the comments now.
What's up, homie? Oh.
All right, we have 16 entries, and we will select our winner now.
All right. We can say goodnight. Come on. Oh, good night, buddy.
Good night.
That's Ozzy.
Who's that guy?
What?
Ben
Where's that
Tipper.
That is
All right, Ben Tipper, you've been active in the chat and on the broadcast tonight. I appreciate it.
He's not talking to me right now. Okay, go.
I do need to see
Love you guys.
a response from you.
Yes. Sorry. Kids in the background.
No worries. Since we announced Ben Tipper, have you made a comment? Looking. I may be missing it, so Ben Tipper, leave me another comment that you're here. You're on the clock. You got 3 minutes. You've been here all night. I hope I didn't lose you.
I did a giveaway, and the person that won was DEEDICK, so D Dick. And everybody's like, that's not real. And then she emailed me, and that's her name.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that one live with you there. So Ben Tipper, very good. And you will get in touch with Nick with your mailing address.
Yep.
That's
Nick at Build That Build. You got me.
Nick at builddadbuild.com, and take care of that. Let me go up here and make sure we're covered. So Nick, where can they find you? I mean, you got Build Dad Build as the YouTube channel. Where else can they find you?
So I'm Build Dad Build everywhere except Facebook. On Facebook, I'm Build It, Burn It because they won't let me change it. And then the podcast is Whiskey, Wine, and DIY. That's me and my wife. That is probably the most uncensored you will get me. I don't censor that at all. Obviously, I censor for YouTube and other things. But yeah, if you want me like totally raw, go with Whiskey, Wine, and DIY.
Okay. Yeah, that's your podcast. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And you do that with your wife?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah. So we needed a little after having the kids, we've just been super busy all the time. So that is like kind of our time to just, I mean, we always come up with a topic ahead of time and whatnot, but we use that time to kind of BS and like hang out because we don't get as much time to do that as we used to.
That's cool that y'all can do that together. We will say that I had a great time tonight, and I appreciate you willingness to come on and you being here with us.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
Anytime.
the giveaways.
Dude. Anytime.
Yeah, let's do it again sometime.
Yeah.
If you ever need anything from me, let me know. Do my best to help you out. I want to remind everybody, next week we're moving the live stream to Tuesday night after the 7:31 Woodworks. And so it's going to be about 9:10 p.m. Tuesday night. That's Eastern time. And as we leave you, I'm going to play the highlighted channel trailer of the night again. That was Jar Made. Hope you check out the trailer and the trailers after that and support these woodworkers. Jar Made's pretty awesome. I think if you check out his latest video, you'll be hooked and you'll want to check out all his videos. And let's see. Make sure I've got everything lined up here. I thank you all for being here. I hear my wife calling. I got to go.
On this channel, I like to take you on a bit of a journey of sawmill life. This is what you'll see on our channel. We rip logs at the sawmill. We do some unique builds using our own dried wood. The grumpy old lumberjack and me, the old lady, we don't always see eye to eye. Hey, I'm Sandy.
Yeah, I'm Andy, yeah.
But hey, that's how we roll. It's like pulling teeth. I hope this channel brings you value and helps you out, gives you some helpful tips and tricks, a little bit of grumpiness, a little bit of humor, and a whole lot of fun. Until next time, let's get ripped.
How you doing? I'm Hugh, and this is McMath Woodworks. My goal for this channel is to build and build up. In my videos, you'll see some cool projects, DIY and beginner woodworking, from small, medium, and large scale, farmhouse, rustic, industrial, all kinds of cool stuff. Along with that, I will have some outside the box thinking, problem solving, positivity and encouragement, some cheesy dad jokes, and probably more. My hope is that we can learn something together, have some fun, get motivated, and be blessed. Thank you. See you in the next video.
Hey everybody, my name is Joe, and this is Shepherd's Workbench. I'm a full-time youth pastor, and I own my own business doing custom projects. I love making videos, from woodwork to leathercraft, shop upgrades, tools, and even some custom pieces. When I make videos, I try to make them fun and entertaining, because ultimately, you're in your shop because you find it fun too. Hopefully in my videos, you're inspired to make some of the same things that I do from the plans that I have available, or you learn some tips and tricks along the way. I try to put out videos every 2 weeks of the projects that I build as gifts or for customers. So join me as we build together in this passion for working with our hands on Shepherd's Workbench.
Hello everyone, I'm Tom, and welcome to the Woodshop Nerdery. Here you'll find videos relevant to hobby-level woodworkers, which dig a little deeper into woodworking topics. My goal is simply to create good quality content which faithfully represents the projects and challenges faced by those of us working in our small home woodworking shops. I believe that woodworking can be an empowering and enriching experience for just about everyone. I take it seriously, but also with humility. For this reason, I try to maintain a sincere and respectful approach to creating content. If you look at my channel's videos page, you'll probably notice several topics which wander a fair bit off the beaten path. Believe it or not, this approach is totally by design. The Woodshop Nerdery aims to serve a small subset of the woodworking community who enjoys delving a little deeper into the details, and maybe likes to get a little bit nerdy from time to time. Now, I'm aware that these videos will never get blockbuster view counts, but that's okay. That's not the goal anyway. I'm having a lot of fun making these videos and sharing them with all of you, and I hope that you enjoy them as much as I do. I invite you to check out the Woodshop Nerdery channel, and I sincerely hope you find something you enjoy there. Bye.
Welcome to the Welcome to all in all. Welcome to my channel, Mighty Sawdust. I'm your host, Darius. Thank you for joining me on this channel. I do hope that you see value in these contents in some shape, way, or form here, and you do subscribe, give me a chance to continue on making more videos for you guys. Now, if you're stumbling upon this channel, let me do a quick little intro. I'm no expert in this field. It's kind of like a hobby right now. I'm getting into it. I always liked to get into this. Now I have the opportunity to actually do it. Now, if you probably tuning in, you've seen a teaser that I had put out a couple months back of a ultimate workbench. Now, originally I built it just to utilize, didn't really think of making a channel, but since then I decided to make a channel. So yeah, this channel is pretty much going to be a DIY version of building stuff. You don't have to have all the fancy tools. I know I don't have all the fancy tools, with all the bells and whistles, but you can accomplish a lot with basic tools. Now, I basically don't have a CNC machine or a laser cutter or anything like that, but you can see I got a logo made, pretty standard, huh? And I created it with the help of the library. Who knew? Check out that video. Some videos will contain mistakes, which is a good thing, because no one's really perfect. Mistakes do happen. The biggest thing is, how do you overcome them? The fun part is, you learn from the experience that you make. I want to learn, and I want to take you guys along with the journey. So here I will be making items and jigs and stuff to work on projects. I would try to keep it as simple as possible, some a little bit more detailed than others, but that's the goal here, is having you guys join me on my journey into woodworking. So this channel, as it continues to grow, more videos, better videos will be released in the future. So with your support, please subscribe, hit the like, add any comments, and make sure you hit that notification bell to be notified when new videos do come up on the YouTube. So next best thing is for you guys to just sit back and continue watching these videos while I go make something. See ya.